I gave advice a few years ago, which apparently got noted because they wrote it down on some sign like this on the walls. It was to young people, identify the best, in your opinion, identify the best lighting design firm or people or person, and then go to work for them. Never mind where they are, what the money is. Because you need when you're young, you need to learn from the best and have a high standard set for work, so you develop a sharp edge on your knife. Otherwise, you're not going to be the best. So I always wanted to try to be the best, work for the best, work for the best.
Welcome back to the Virtual Lighting Design Community Podcast, a global platform that empowers, inspires, educates, and connects the lighting design community. This podcast is brought to you by our premium supporters Aero Hospitality Lighting, Creative Lighting Asia, Urco, the Signify Lighting Academy, and Felix Lighting. Here's your regular dose of light inspiration. For anyone wanting a visual experience, please do check out our YouTube channel, where you will find the video version of this episode, as well as many other great interviews and presentations by our industry thought leaders. Our YouTube handle is at vld.community. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without mentioning our online platform where the magic happens. Join us and your fellow lighting enthusiasts, where you can gain access to the complete array of presentations, interviews, stories, ongoing conversations, a host of resources, and much more. So please do check that out and explore the community. Now, without further ado, let's head straight into the episode. Enjoy!
Greetings.
Greetings, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thanks for coming into the VLDC booth. What do you think of the booth?
It's big. You guys are famous.
Absolutely. Now you guys, you got in, you were just saying on Saturday morning, took Sunday easy, and on Monday morning you were here for the judging.
All day long.
All day long. Tell us a bit about that whole process from your experience. How does that match up with what you've done?
I've been, in my life, I've been on about 6, maybe 7 jury panels, and it's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
This time we had on your own judging online in December.
Yeah.
And then they came to a finalist list. And so we looked at the finalists all day yesterday, and in what I thought was a brilliant addition and can really only be done in a regional setting like this. We interviewed, that's not the right word, we had presentations and we were able to ask questions from most of the applicants. And that was great.
They were there.
Yeah, they came into the room. We had 10 or 15 minutes with each one. Yeah. And that made a big difference, because then you can ask questions about what you see in the pictures the text, and they were able to present in their own voice their projects. It was great.
We had the pleasure of interviewing Lauren Dandridge earlier, and I asked the same question, and she said sort of along the similar lines, where it was really nice to also have the designer there to be able to talk about the project and get sort of their take on why they made certain decisions. Because you can have a nice project write up, you can write it all nice, and it's a bit different to then actually get inside why they made certain decisions, right?
That's true. Yeah. It was good fun, and a nice group of judges, got along very well. Yeah. Good group dynamic.
Yeah. Now, we also know that you talked at ThinkLight earlier this morning.
I've been busy today.
You've been pretty busy, pretty active. Now, Lauren talked about her keynote.
She was the boss. She was the boss of our panel. Lauren kicked it off, and then there were 6 of us, I guess, and everybody did a 12, 15 minutes with a slightly different vector, you might say, on the topic, which was really fun, really good. I learned a bit.
And so when
What did you sort of take away from that, or what did you feel you contributed to that conversation?
Well, I contributed a feet on the ground, practical experience point of view, and distilling that experience to address the topic. So my subtopic, you might say, was put the people first in design.
Yeah.
And that speaks to all the issues of responsibility, sustainability, and good design, joy and beauty in design. It speaks to technology issues. So when you're doing a project that's based on a master plan developed 5 years before, the technology has changed since the master plan was written. So we face that all the time in the real world. So I was able to weave a little talk about that using some projects as examples.
Yeah. You're no stranger to the virtual lighting design community and the lighting community at large, and you contributed not long ago actually with a talk on the night sky, which I thought was a brilliant talk.
Well, I don't know about brilliant, but actually last year I did a longer version of that.
Oh, okay.
And that's when Martin came to me and he said, would you do a shorter version?
Yeah.
And one thing we learned in the pandemic was that the 20-minute format is really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good teaching format, and also everybody will sit for a 20-minute talk if it's engaging.
Yeah.
The problem with 50-minute talks is it reminds us of school, and we didn't all like school. Anyway, so the talk I did for you was called Consider the Dark, and it's just 20 minutes.
Consider the Dark, yeah.
Yeah, and I quite like it.
What I really enjoyed when I just ducked in earlier to listen to you being interviewed by our fellow VLDC founder, Martin Lupton, was one of the things he asked you was, I think, something along the lines of what you feared or something like that. And you said that you, more to the point, that you wanted to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. And I feel like that is something that you are offering to the members, and we have a lot of young people who are up and coming lighting designers in this community, who can surround themselves by people who are very well experienced and who are smarter than them. And I feel like you are able to do that for others.
Well, I hope so. Remember, in my career, I've seen 20 lighting design firms worldwide become 2,000.
Yeah.
And okay, is it really 2,000? Maybe not. Maybe it's a few hundred commercial, ongoing, professional enterprises. But if you look at that survey that, was it Mondo Arc puts out, 2,000, almost 2,000 this year.
Yeah.
All right, that's a pretty impressive growth rate. And I do think that surrounding yourself with smart people is a good plan.
Absolutely. So in that sense, you've got a bit of an experience about, you're quite familiar with the virtual lighting design community. What has been your experience? What could you sort of maybe say from your point of view how it's been being part of what we do? Well,
it's been, I think, fun, engaging, and worthwhile from my perspective to contribute a little bit. I like to support the idea. I think we're all around the world, and we certainly, one thing we take away from the 3 years of lockdown is that staying connected to your friends and your colleagues is important and worthwhile and rewarding.
Yeah.
So I've made a lot of friends over a lot of years, and I don't want to lose them.
No, damn right. And I realized that there might be a few people who may or may not have necessarily got to know who you are as a person. Is there anything that you haven't already shared that you could say lets people know who you are, where you've come from, your journey through lighting, any advice that you might want to give to young lighting designers?
Martin asked me almost the same question an hour ago.
Exactly.
Look, I really wanted to do this thing, and I still do.
Yeah.
The best advice would be to do something else, like your parents wanted you to do, probably. That would be good advice. On the other hand, I really wanted to do it, and that made it possible for me, but I'm also lucky. And the period of time, the changes in the industry over my career,
Yes.
could I have lived at a better time in lighting? I don't know. I can't imagine.
No.
And could I be luckier? No.
No.
So I worked for the best people,
Yeah.
and they were smarter than I was, and learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with good, hard-working people.
Yeah.
So I gave advice a few years ago, which apparently got noted because they wrote it down on some sign like this on the walls.
Yeah.
It was to young people, identify the best, in your opinion, identify the best lighting design firm or people or person, and then go to work for them.
Yeah.
Never mind where they are, what the money is.
Yes.
Because you need when you're young, you need to learn from the best and have a high standard set for work, so you develop a sharp edge on your knife.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to be the best.
No.
So I always wanted to try to be the best, work for the best, work for the best. I don't know. That's just general life advice, I guess.
Well, there's a bit of an overlap, I suppose, with life advice. I also heard you say earlier about you not having any hobbies.
I don't have a lot of hobbies.
Is that because you love what you do so much?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Well, with going back to a family, between trips, with working on projects, for example, in my life I've made from New York or other U.S. destinations over 250 trips to Hong Kong alone.
Yeah. Which is hard on a family.
It's hard on everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No.
So I have some collections of friends in various cities, and we get together and talk. I have intellectual conversations on many topics.
Yeah.
I say intellectual because you have to read something before you go to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Not because we're breaking ground on big ideas, but my point is, I'm not a fisherman. I don't, tie flies or I don't have hobbies or play games. I don't play card games. I don't gamble. I just don't have any hobbies. I travel. I take a few pictures.
Yeah.
I like to write.
Yeah.
I like to read.
Okay. Fantastic. Charles, I thank you so much for coming down and having a chat with us.
It's been fun.
I tried to extract a bit more of the things that you might not have already talked about, and getting a bit of an inside look. But
Well, you're doing a good thing here. I think this is connecting the world of lighting designers together in what is a new and unique way. You're the first to do it, and with any success.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to support that. Wish you well.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Will do.
See ya.
It's my hobby.
It's your hobby.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and you've gained some insight or inspiration that you can take away or perhaps apply. If you enjoyed this episode, it is always appreciated if you could take a moment to share the podcast with your peers and friends, or leave a review on your favorite podcast app. Consider subscribing to the podcast and our YouTube channel to stay up to date with our latest content. Do check out our online platform as well at vld.community. If you would like more, why not go back and listen to some of our previous episodes and hear more from our thought leaders. Thanks for listening, and we will be back with more great presentations or interviews very soon. Till next time.